Since they were young, two little cats, Liam and Michael, had been best friends, learning and sharing every part of life together. Both of them dreamed of becoming police officers to uphold justice and help the vulnerable. As they grew older, they joined the police academy together, overcame rigorous exams, and finally became real police officers. Liam and Michael became a dynamic team, always working in perfect harmony on every mission. One day, they were assigned to capture the notorious criminal Spooky Clown, a ruthless and cunning thief. During the chase, Spooky Clown suddenly emerged from the shadows and fired, hitting Michael. Michael fell in pain, and Liam shouted, rushing to his friend's side, but he could do nothing to save him. In that heart-wrenching moment, Michael passed away, leaving Liam with deep sorrow and a burning determination for revenge. After Michael's funeral, Liam left everything behind, resolved to train and become the best Special Forces officer. Every day, he dedicated himself to relentless practice, from combat skills to marksmanship. Time passed, and Liam became an elite warrior, fearless in the face of any challenge. One day, Liam received information about a major crime organization led by Spooky Clown hiding in the city. Liam quickly devised a plan and led a raid on Spooky Clown's hideout with his team. Facing Spooky Clown, memories of Michael flashed in Liam's mind, and he vowed not to let this criminal escape. An intense battle ensued, and finally, Liam defeated Spooky Clown, avenging his friend. After the victory, Liam stood silently before his fallen enemy, feeling some relief from his pain, but the scar in his heart would never fully heal. Returning from the mission, Liam thought of Michael, his dearest friend who had sacrificed himself, and he silently vowed to keep living to fulfill the dreams they had shared. The story of the two cat friends became a legend within the police force, leaving behind pride and a lesson on friendship, courage, and resilience. One day, after school, the sky suddenly poured heavy rain. Tom the kitten, with his heavy backpack on his shoulders, stepped out of the school gate. He walked along the wet and deserted road, the cold raindrops soaking into his soft fur. As he passed by a dark alley, a group of thug cats appeared out of nowhere and surrounded him. The gang was tall, fierce, and looked at Tom with sinister eyes. The gang leader, a scruffy black cat, stepped forward and sneered. Tom backed away in fear, but it was too late. They grabbed his backpack. The gang threw Tom's backpack into a puddle and started beating him. Tom tried to resist, but he was no match for the thug cats. Punches and kicks rained down on him, knocking him to the damp ground. The gang laughed mockingly, then left, leaving Tom battered and broken in the rain. In pain and trembling, Tom limped his way home. When he arrived, his body was covered in injuries and his eyes filled with tears. Tom's father, a legendary boxer, saw his son in such a state and was filled with anger. He gently asked, "Who did this to you?" With tearful eyes, Tom told his father the entire story. Tom's father stood up abruptly, grabbed his leather jacket, and put on his hat. In a determined voice, he said, "You stay here and rest. I'll take care of this." Tom's father rode off on his motorbike into the rain, his anger unrelenting. He knew exactly where the thugs usually gathered and headed straight there. When he arrived, he got off his bike with resolve in his eyes. The gang of cats was laughing under a shelter, unaware of what was about to happen. When they saw Tom's father, they sneered, "What does this old man want?" Without saying a word, Tom's father stepped forward with a cold gaze. He delivered a powerful punch to the gang leader, knocking him to the ground. The gang was terrified, but they couldn't escape Tom's father's strong, swift punches. Tom's father taught them a lesson with quick and decisive blows. After leaving the thugs lying in pain, Tom's father warned, "Never mess with anyone again." Coldly, Tom's father turned and walked away, while the thugs lay groaning in agony and fear. In a rundown corner of the city, where dilapidated houses crowded together, there lived a small kitten named Milo. Milo was an orphaned cat, living in an abandoned house with his scruffy fur. Unlike the other cats in the neighborhood, Milo had no one to love or care for him. Because of his shabby appearance and poverty, Milo often became the target of bullying by the neighborhood cats. Every day, they came up with all kinds of mischievous ways to tease Milo. Sometimes, they pushed him into dirty puddles. Other times, they threw sand into his eyes. And at times, they even took away the little food he managed to scavenge from the trash cans on the streets. Milo always tried to endure in silence, quietly avoiding those mean cats. One day, after Milo was lying by the roadside following a terrible bout of bullying, a police cat named Max happened to walk by on his patrol. Max noticed Milo, his eyes tired and full of despair. The police cat Max stopped, gently picked Milo up, and brought him to the police station. There, Max took care of Milo, feeding him a hearty meal and letting him sleep in a warm bed. Gradually, Milo began to feel the safety and warmth he had never known before. Max was not just the one who rescued him from his harsh life, but he also taught Milo valuable lessons about courage and justice. Milo decided to turn his life around and dreamed of becoming a police cat like Max to protect the weak. Years passed, and Milo had grown up. He was no longer the weak, scruffy little kitten. He had become a strong, smart, and decisive police cat. One day, while on patrol, Milo came across the same group of cats that used to bully him. They were still troublemakers, causing chaos in the neighborhood and picking on smaller cats. But this time, Milo was no longer the helpless kitten he once was. He swiftly apprehended them and took them to the police station. Those mean cats were now punished for their malicious actions. Milo looked at them, not with hatred, but with forgiveness, understanding that anyone can change. In the end, Milo became a symbol of courage and kindness in the neighborhood. He always remembered Max, the one who saved his life, and he continued down the path of justice, helping other vulnerable cats just like he once had been. Tom stayed late after school to study, wanting to prepare for tomorrow's test. When he finished, he realized it was already midnight, and the atmosphere around the school had turned unusually eerie. The school was completely empty, not a single person in sight, and Tom began to feel uneasy. He quickly packed his books and got ready to leave. As he stepped out of the classroom, he could feel the chilling silence of the dark hallway. Suddenly, a spider monster appeared from the shadows and began chasing him. Tom was terrified, tears streaming down his face as he ran and cried in panic. The spider monster pursued the little cat down the hallways, its footsteps echoing in the dark, empty space.
Oh no!
Tom ran as fast as he could, heart pounding with fear, heading toward the school gate. At last, he burst through the gate, panting and nearly exhausted.
Oh no!
Huh? Tom immediately told the security guard what had happened, his face still wet with tears and his body trembling. The guard grabbed a flashlight and went to patrol the school grounds to check. But by the time the guard reached the spot, the spider monster had vanished without a trace. Tom felt relieved, but the fear of what he had just experienced lingered.